Hey there, let's talk about fake stuff. You may be wondering, all right, what the heck am I talking about? I'm talking about fake news, fake videos, and fake images, and how to spot fakes, because now fakery is everywhere. And before I get started, because you may be wondering, who am I, or why am I talking about fake stuff to begin with, I'm going to just introduce myself. My name is Kimberly Inez Mays. I demystify technology for small and medium-sized businesses so that they can stop duct taping their systems together and start scaling with confidence. And I do so through marketing technology and AI. And when I talk about fake stuff, I just mean literally things that are fabricated, untrue, and meant to deceive. So I'm not talking about AI generated images or music or anything that's used for more benevolent marketing purposes or even for entertainment purposes. This is fine, and I'm a hobbyist. I love doing it. But what happens when there's the other side of things, when we fall for things or manipulated using these tools and technologies? Using tech for scams is nothing new, right? We have phone scams, email scams. We have phishing, which is sending somebody sends you a fake email that looks like it came from your bank. You click on it, put your banking info in it, and now they have it, right? So people have always been using technology to trick others, to deceive others, defraud others, and that is unfortunately amplified through the use of AI. So how to keep yourself safe, how to keep yourself savvy, and how to share the knowledge, because I really think that too many people are falling for things where they don't need to be. And I think there's also just a lack of education, plus the abundance of these AI tools that while they do amazing things, the bad actors are also doing things with them that aren't great. And I think that there are loose guardrails on things right now, and I'm not even sure if that can even be scaled back. So how to spot fake stuff. And this was an idea that I had a couple of days ago because I was scrolling on social media, and I'll tell you why this kind of came into my head. I was scrolling on social media the other day, and I was seeing a fake AI generated image of a suspect who was wanted. I'm not going to name the case or anything because I'm just not going to. But it was an image of somebody supposedly that the police were looking for, and because the image was so blurry, people were putting that into whatever system that they put it into and say, "Hey, can you increase the resolution? Can you fix it? Can you modify it?" And it gave them what they wanted, right? It gave them features, like the person's nose and mouth, for example, were not defined in the blurry image. But then when they got something back from AI, apparently there's a nose, there's a mouth now. And great, right? Well, no, because if you understand how large language models work, how AI works, it works off a collection of data from all over, pictures and images and whatever, so that the composite picture that was put together was not that of a suspect, but it could have been that of a very real person or people, right? So now you can see where the harm comes in, is that when we are using this to find people or dox people or things like that, that is where the technology now needs to like pump the brakes on it a little bit. So I was scrolling, I kept seeing the AI generated image of the supposed suspect, and I knew it wasn't the real person because that's just not how images work. You can't add resolution or clarity back into an image. You cannot add those fine details. So if you're using AI, for example, or if you're using any sort of like upscaling technology, it'll try its best to match it with the information that it has, but it's never going to be 100% accurate. So the image you get may not be of that actual person, but it could be of someone else. And this got me thinking, it got me thinking of how law enforcement might be using this erroneously to find people. I'm not saying that they are, but I'm saying that if the public is falling for it, could it be that, others and other organizations and law enforcement or whatever uses stuff too that could have flaws? Because as we know, large language model, AI, produces flaws all the time. Hallucinations are a very real thing. So I'm not being accusatory of any one police department or a person or a group of people. What I'm saying is that it deserves a closer look, and it deserves the scrutiny of, hey, if we're going to use this for decision making, if we're going to act on it, let's step back and take a look to see if this is really real or not. And another thing that comes up is fake news. Fake news is always going to be a thing, because no matter what side of the political spectrum you fall on, or affinity groups or whatever, people operate in echo chambers, and the social media algorithms don't make it any easier. And what happens is that once something becomes out there, like somebody will produce a piece of content that looks legit, maybe it has a legitimate website but has a lot of erroneous details, it gets bounced around in the various echo chambers, not to mention bots that create social media accounts. So what people tend to believe as fact and as source might not be. And so that is one of the insidious ways that fake news can now be amplified through the use of AI. It's not that difficult to create a website, hello vibe coding, and it's not that difficult to create articles or create bots and create things that can post multiple messages on demand. But if it lands into the For You page or in the feed of someone who's looking for accurate information, how do they discern that this is correct? So I'm going to give you some tools and tips, and I give tools and tips, but by no means am I the authoritative expert on any of this. I am just one woman who has opinions. So your opinions might differ, and I welcome that. But we're going to talk about like some ways to spot fakes, right? So fake news, for example, if you are scrolling and you see something breaking, something that is designed to trigger an emotion from you, or something that is just like, wow, this is crazy, whether that's a good crazy or a bad crazy, definitely fact check it. Go to Google, see if any of the mainstream sites have reported that information yet. And I know there might be a lack or distrust of mainstream news or media in certain groups. But the thing is that if it's just this one lone blog reporting on it, or just one side within the echo chamber reporting on it, chances are it could be fabricated. And we've seen this. I've seen this before, where there have been names or things that have been produced and just amplified, and it turns out that that is erroneous and false, and people just kind of delete it off of their, repost or whatever. But just to keep yourself safe and to keep yourself sane, I would say definitely check if it's not reported anywhere else. If you can't find another verified source of that information, chances are it is fake. And it's so easy to create something fake. You don't even know how easy it is to create fake stuff, especially stuff that is clickbait, designed to trigger emotions. And it's crazy. And talking about that and kind of going back to the image part, how to spot fake images. So the image technology has gotten so much better since since 2022, 2023, right? When back in the day, but like a couple of years ago, you would generate an image and it would have maybe 7 fingers on one hand, one eyeball would be up here, one eyeball would be down here. You would just know it's fake, right? No ifs, ands, or buts. This is just weird. You would see the artifacts around different parts of the image, and it is just fake, right? And then a year later, when the image generator got better, it still wasn't 100%. You would see smooth, perfect skin. You would see now more realistic lighting, and you would see now 5 fingers on one hand. Maybe the thumb is in the place a thumb should be. And it got a little bit harder, but you could still tell because there was an uncanniness. But now through like Mid-Journey and now Nano Banana, as of the time of this recording, it's September 2025. So who knows what's next? But through what we have now, it's even harder, right? Because now they have skin imperfections, wrinkles, they have advanced lighting, DSLR type quality. And how do you know if something is fake or if something is real? Well, I say the gut check. The gut check is always your best bet. You're never going to have something that's 100% confirmed, AI or not. Well, he can, but the gut check. Like if just something's a little bit off, maybe the eyes aren't right, maybe if, the teeth, or it's just something's too perfect. The facial symmetry is too perfect, because none of us have symmetrical faces. I don't care how beautiful you are. You don't have a completely symmetrical face. But if the image is just too perfect, maybe the head is a little bit too big, or maybe the lighting or the shadows in the background are kind of off, use your best discernment. And if in doubt, assume it's fake until you can verify it's real. Do a reverse image search on that image. If it's not produced anywhere else, then likely it could be a fake image. You can also run it through there's a couple of like AI detecting tools, but sometimes AI detecting tools are kind of hit or miss. But just use your best discernment, right? Don't act on emotion. Don't really respond to something or engage with it without doing a little bit of thinking, because that's what a lot of fakery does. It gets you to act on emotions. Going from like fake images now to fake voice. We have so many different ways to clone a voice. It's not even funny. It used to be funny when I cloned my voice, and I was like, okay, well, sounds a little robotic, but it sounds mostly like me. But
this is an example of my voice clone. Cool, right? It's pretty good.
Now it can do inflections. It can do like, increases in pitches and decreases in pitches. It can do a lot of things like that. So it makes it even harder. Like, are you getting a call from an actual human being? Is this a recording of an actual person? What are you listening to, an actual human being or not? And I'm not disparaging voice AI. It definitely has its place, right? AI is now doing interviews. AI is now doing outreach, outbound sales calls, inbound inquiries, and everything else like that. That's great if people are using it for that purpose, with the disclosure that it is AI. But what happens when people want to defraud and deceive? How do you keep yourself safe? So there's a couple of ways that I can discern or detect if something is AI, like from an audio perspective. Number one, there's really no inflection in the voice. It kind of sounds one tone and one tone only. I can't really imitate it so much, but you know what I mean, right? So it tends to be a little bit too perfect. I know you can put ums and ahs and pauses in your script or whatever you're using to generate the voice. But, if somebody is looking to defraud really quickly, or if somebody is trying to pull one over, they're probably not going to put the work in. So you're going to see every sentence sound exactly the same. You're going to see every... You're just gonna hear the little artifact, that little buzz sometimes when they try to generate too much at one time. You'll hear a little zzz. I can't describe it, but
I used 11 labs for this voice clone, so you can see the difference. Listen for unnatural prosody and overly even pacing. AI. Voices often have flat intonation and perfectly timed syllables. Notice missing micro variations like breaths, mouth noises, and slight pronunciation errors. Their absence or repetition suggests synthetic generation. Verify by checking file metadata or source, running the audio through an AI detection tool, or comparing against known samples for spectral artifacts or unnaturally steady pitch.
Like with images, use your gut, right? Use your gut to say, okay, was this is this a real recording of a person, or is this not? And see if it's anywhere else. Maybe even verify the source if you're getting a phone call from someone. Do what you can to protect yourself, and don't feel bad for taking the extra precaution. And then the last thing I want to talk about is AI video, right? Because I love AI videos. It's so much fun. And now we can avatar ourselves to death. We can just create so much duplication of ourselves, and it's cool. I hear a lot of it in the business world. Like, yeah, you can create clones of yourself, and you can have yourself speak 80 different languages, and that's cool. I love that. That is a great use case. I'm not disparaging that. I think if you disclose, or if you're not deceiving the other person and they know it's AI and they're cool with it and the information is great, then yes, of course. But what happens when now you're creating deep fakes of a person meant to embarrass them or disparage them or defame them or whatever, right? And what happens if you come across something that looks fake? So to me, one big telltale sign that something is a deep fake is that there is an incongruency between the audio, what is being said, and the mouth, especially words that start with M. Now, it's gotten a lot better where it does match the audio pretty well, but there's other clues. But that's a big clue. Like, if it just plain out doesn't match, they probably are using some sort of cheap software that's not doing a very good job. But even with software that does a great job, there are things that you can use to detect if something is AI. For example, you see me, my gestures, I use my hands a lot, and I also tend to look up when I am thinking or have a thought, or I'm trying to process my next sentence, right? Because looking up is activating the side of the brain that, you're trying to come up with your next idea or you're thinking. Well, at least that is my behavioral pattern. And when you are looking at a fake video, sometimes there's an incongruency, again, a gut check. Your gut's telling you something's off, right? So why would this person be using their hands like this if they're speaking calmly? And when I say hands like this, if you're listening, I'm just waving my hands around. So if the body language doesn't match what's being said and doesn't match the tone, and if there's just something is slightly off, and especially if the body language tends to repeat, so maybe the video you're looking at, they raise their eyebrows constantly, and it's just like, why are they doing that? That could be a sign that's the AI trying to make the speakers look as natural as possible. They'll keep repeating the same movements over and over again, even when they don't match what's being said. So I want to just leave you with that too. So if you take nothing away, just make sure that you are automating responsibly, using these tools in a responsible manner. I have my own ethics about it where I say disclose. If you're using AI for something, just disclose it. Just say, yes, this is an automated bot. If you're using fake videos, not fake videos, but like, AI videos for teaching, that's okay. That use case is okay. It's when you're trying to trick someone out of their money or to do something they wouldn't ordinarily do. I know if you're listening to this, you're not that kind of person, but unfortunately, these kind of people exist out here, and we got to keep ourselves safe. We got to keep ourselves aware so that we don't get duped and fraud, and we don't inadvertently dupe and fraud others, right? So that's really what I want to say about that. And if you're just trying to figure out, well, where to start in my own business when it comes to producing creative assets responsibly with things that will strengthen relationships and not break them, well, take the AI systems and AI scorecard, right? That's what I call it, AI System Scorecard, because it'll tell you like what you can do in your business starting from where you are now. So if you're not at the point where you want to make an avatar, there's other things you can do. You can use AI for copywriting. You can use AI for, proofreading or ideation or something like that. So there is a place for you. And to find that place, I invite you to take it. It's absolutely free, and you get a workbook, you get guides. It's actually pretty cool. I love it so much. And if you want to work directly with me together, if you are working on a process, a new project, a tool, if you want to build something, co-create something together, if you need consultation, or if you need somebody to come teach and train your team, well, let's do that as well. Book an automation insight session. It is free as well. It's a free 30-minute conversation, which we talk about what works, what does not work, and how I can best support you. Wow, I went over a lot in such a short period of time, but I probably will break this down even further because it's so important. It's so important. But yeah, it's a great time to be alive. It's a great time to be in business. It's a great time to be in tech. And I want to take as many people along with me as possible. All right. So until next time, I hope you have a great day, and I will speak to you later. Bye.